roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. darkest ground. But gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
All right. Ding, ding, ding. What is going on, everyone? Happy morning and welcome up to the Stocked Up live stream. Looking at the SPY today, we are selling down quite a bit as PPI data released. The SPY ended up tanking. Yes, producer prices came in much higher than expected. They were expecting to come in around 0.2%. It says here forecast for 0.3. I guess it just depends on who you look at. But it came in at 0.9. Oh, okay, no, they were talking about core there. Sorry, they're talking about like three different things here. But either way, it came in at 0.9. They were expecting 0.2%. So that definitely was a lot higher than the overall inflation rate that we saw with CPI data earlier in the week. And like it says down here, I was reading through here, you know, with CPI coming in right around expectations earlier this week, the market had been pricing in a virtual certainty that the Fed will lower its key interest rates in September. Following this release, odds of a September rate cut decreased slightly. Now, they did say, this is a person, let's see, it's Chris Zaccarelli, Chief Investment Officer at Northlight Asset Management, said the large spike in producer price index this morning shows inflation is coursing through the economy, even if it hasn't been felt by consumers yet. Given how benign the CPI data or the CPI numbers were on Tuesday, this is a most unwelcome surprise to the upside and is likely to unwind some of the optimism of a guaranteed rate cut next month. Now, I did go to the FedWatch tool and I was looking at the probabilities of a rate cut. I refreshed this before the video or before the live today, and we can see that the probability for a pause actually went up to 5.6%. Last night, on last night's video, we were actually looking at a possible 50 basis point rate cut. Besson did mention this yesterday, so I found that interesting. Nonetheless, though, it's not the best inflation data to see. Obviously, to see PPI data come in a little bit hotter is not good. And I'm a little bit worried about like what that analyst there wrote, the chief investment officer, saying that, you know, with PPI rising, it shows that inflation's going through the economy, even though consumers aren't quite feeling it yet. That's a pretty big statement. Kind of hope that guy's wrong, but it makes sense. What's up, Juan, Joe Papa, Huncho, Mr. Woo, Autumn, Jason, Tangy Man, Chill Ghost, Fraz, My Views, Jake, City Jr., Rick. Autumn said, SPY's gonna move all slow again today or what? I'm expecting it to try and pop up off this dip. I'm going to be watching that low of day or low of the morning very carefully at 641.50. I really like that level. We might end up seeing a potential bounce there. 641.50, pretty big spot. If you didn't know, this is actually the previous all-time high on the SPY. 641.50. Won't show me on the, let me go to a 5 minute. There it is. Right where the green arrow is. Pretty insane action though with the SPY and the way in which it had dropped off there. At the end of July, going into August. Now we're already halfway through August essentially. What's up, Brain? Good morning. Did we get rugged? Fraz said. Yeah. PPI did kind of rug pull the SPY there a little bit. Made 640 on APP at open, Mason said. It's making a little comeback with the SPY coming back. App lovin'. Nice. Interesting setup here. They sold off quite a bit yesterday. Momentum play to the downside from last night's video. But it broke 440 in pre-market, which sucks. Couldn't play the breakdown. That's the worst part about pre-market. The worst. Yes, app. Put looks good at open, Autumn said. It is trying to come back. As long as it uses that 440 previous support as resistance, will be all solid. All set. Juan said RSI is topping on QQQ. Theta gang getting me today. I was in the money, but I gotta go back to where we started, Juan said. RSI is topping on QQQ and the Theta gang's getting you. That's funny. 580 resistance on QQQ. Gonna be tough to re-break back through there. Wolf is up 30%, Brain says. Terra Wolf. I'm going to go check out Tessie. TSLA pulled back a little bit. See, the past few trading days, they've been trying to bounce off this lower support around like 333 to 335. It's kind of strange, but a lot of touches and bounces within this range. Like a lot. Autumn said Mason killed it. Hell yeah, Brain. Glad to be back. Had some daughter issues yesterday. My daughter had a pretty easy surgery recently where we had something like in her mouth, like her... There's these things called like lip ties. She had a lip tie and we had to have it reduced, so to say. But after you have it reduced, it can actually come back. And it came back, unfortunately. And don't worry, it's not that crazy. It's just pretty easy little thing, but... I always do if I hold something into open autumn, thank God. Sometimes it works the other way around where it drops even more and you miss out, but I'll take it this time. Yeah. Man, Mason, with the way that these stocks can sometimes just rip back at open and stuff, I don't blame you. Gonna buy the dip. I think there's some chance it's gonna go back down, City said. I was too late for the opening dip, City. Are you talking about QQQ or SPY or... Or App Lovin'? Oh, SQQQ and SPLG mostly. Or QQQM and SPLG. QQQM. 238.72. SPLG. Nice and safe there. It's always the opposite. If a stock is way up, most of the time their day is fighting back down to the downside and vice versa. I don't know the true stats on it, Mason, but it definitely feels that way. A lot of the time. I would agree there. I always love looking at that possibility. Just like the SPY today even. You know, the SPY. Like, it even had this big, massive downwards move. And perfect example. Even yesterday. Great run. Popped a little at open, but said see you later. Yeah, it'd be cool to have some real stats on that, though. I wonder if we could try to get some somehow. It's too bad, like, ChatGPT and stuff aren't that good yet. That'd be pretty sick. What if there was an AI out there literally just made for stock market statistics? That'd be pretty sick. Rain said there's gotta be one already. Man, if there is, I need to find it. It would help me out a lot. One sec, guys. All right, let's create it and get rich, Autumn said. That's what I'm thinking, honestly. Probably wouldn't be too hard. How's BLSH bullish today? Are we bullish? It doesn't look the best today. Trying to hold $72 support here. If we could hold 72, that would be perfect. It's holding well for now. Pretty nice setup. Brain just wants to take down the fake stocked up merch store. I forgot about that. Built on the block, Brain. Rick goes, who was that guy that opened up the video last night? Who's this Mike character you kept addressing? What? I know it's the mythical ghost of Mike D'Antonio. Built on the block to rise. Chase has been wearing them for 2 days now. Luis asked AMD and Bookmap. I guess we'll pull it up. Let's go go over to where we are now. Let's go pull up 190. 146,000 shares at 190. Not bad to watch. We're breaking above 185 here. I think if 186 gives out, you could watch for that 190 push. That's a pretty fire move overall, Lewis. I don't believe you, Chase. Mason says hump day. Mike. I hate QQQ. Why did it drop if it has so much bullish buying power? Like, what was the point, Juan said. Well, you do know that we had the PPI, right? Sorry, Juan, I don't know if you missed it from like open or not, but we did have PPI data released this morning. Ended up sending QQQ down. I didn't think that the PPI data was going to be that crazy, considering that CPI was pretty flat earlier in the week. I figured this was going to come in and just come in right around analyst expectations, but it did not. It ended up coming in 0.9%. Analysts were expecting like 0.2. So that was a big reason why the QQQ and the SPY both tanked this morning. QQQ, though, has made a full recovery already, essentially. Oh, I got you, Juan. I got you. He says, I know that, but let's continue to move, not just reverse. Makes a lot of sense. I know it sucks whenever you see these reversals like this, but it is something that naturally happens. Tesla might try to reverse here off 335 support. With everything else doing so well, it'd be awesome. I know, I wish I could tell you, Steve. You gotta love the market. Bunch of random BS that we try to capitalize off of. That should go on a shirt. Bunch of random BS that we capitalize off of. When is StockedUp announcing its IPO, Chase said. Ooh. I don't know. After the way Elon gets castrated, I don't know that we want to go public. The shareholders will vote to remove Tom here. More D'Antonio and Nichols, ticker MAD. What? Tandy goes, never ever go public. Michael says, you betrayed the shareholders. Yeah, imagine like we say one weird thing and they're like, nope. Mason, pump and dump. Mason, I think the insiders have to hold for like a certain amount of time. I don't think you'd even be allowed to, which sucks. Although I wish you could. SPY, update me, please. And good morning, fams. What's up, Isaac? Yeah, SPY coming back today, Isaac. It's recovering back to the upside. I've been kind of surprised. The market's coming right back up off that PPI data release that sent it down. A bit strange, but it's roaring right back up. I know it sounds weird because it's been pretty bullish today, but I don't necessarily love the upside price action. I just don't love the way the market's moving here. It's now, don't get me wrong, it's moving up in a pretty decent way. But I think that overall, it's a bit of a weird day, right? We had this big drop. Now the market's coming back into a big area of resistance. I'm a bit worried that it's going to end up rejecting back down again. But the market's been so resilient lately. Like, how do you bet against it? Man, for me right now, SPY's kind of like a no trade, if I'm being honest. Same for SPLG. Too late? Yeah, essentially so. Especially now over the past 4 minutes. My Nvidia hit stop loss at 179.60. Now it's up a lot. The power of bots. Nvidia hit a stop loss at 179.60. Oh, man. That damn opening volatility. The power of bots. That's a tough one. Damn. You know what I gotta say about Nvidia? You know, zooming out on the 1 minute over the past 3 trading days, I gotta say, unfortunately, the power of bots, you probably should have went back and looked on the 1 minute chart and seen how it bounces off 179.50 quite a bit. Yeah, that was inevitable. That's tough, man. That happens, though. I'm glad you're using stop losses still. Don't make them too wide, but I feel for you there. That happens, you know. It's part of trading, but I will say, like, going back and looking at the 1 minute chart, these two bottoms the past couple days probably should have been identified. Nvidia, nice pump, though. Wow. That was a pretty good bounce down there. It's all right, though, bots. You know, we live and we learn. Do you think that it still has a chance to hit 184 today? Nvidia, 184. That's all the way back up at the top of the range. The past couple times it bounced off of this level, it didn't get back to 184. I do think that there's a shot that it could get back to 184. I think that we're talking about a pretty tall task for today, though. We're going to have to see that SPY make a full-blown recovery. At that point, SPY would pretty much probably be at, like, all-time highs again. So it's not my favorite. I am worried about SPY hitting resistance here at some point. Exactly what I said, Juan said. Look at that red candle on the QQQ just to make sure I didn't make money. Jake said maybe do a trailing stop loss, something like at a 5% discount. Chase said SPY didn't like 644. Pretty sure if Nvidia drops back to 180, it should bounce back. You think if I enter at 180, I should have a good shot to recover my loss? If it drops back to 180, could possibly start to look at buying the dip here at some point. I don't necessarily love just chasing Nvidia here today, though. It seems like it's fairly choppy off of this bottom zone. I am kind of worried the zone could give out eventually. The market has been extremely resilient, though, so this is a big level for Nvidia. Probably keeps holding it given the great PA lately, so yeah, if you buy in at 180, just have a tight stop. You know, watch those previous lows that we talked about and Tesla's holding its ground at 335, which is solid. I like Tesla for a potential bounce back here. Come on, Tesla, get it done. It's been stuck for a little while. Hopefully we don't see inflation fears creep back in. SPY is starting to pull back off that 644 resistance. BTBT. Angie and Ryan are looking at BTBT, Bit Digital. Wow, a lot of these stocks have been popping lately. BTBT has earnings tonight, I believe, right? Yep. That's really not that bad, Tangi. Those one strike calls for January 2027, that's pretty good. It's not terrible. That's a lot of time. And the $1 strike, that's pretty good. Yeah, that is a long way to go. It just seems weird that you would pick right on earnings to do it. That's the only weird part to me. Seems like you're almost wanting to do it because of the earnings, but I guess my question, like, why didn't we do this over here? Oh, you did it last week too? Gotcha. Tesla's trying to use the upper end of this trend line to bounce now. This is looking pretty solid in the way that it's holding that upper trend line. I'm a little worried because we have this lower high pattern starting to form. It is good that we broke back above this high, though. The one I'm pointing to. It's a really good thing that we broke above that here. Does make me think that there could be a possibility that Tesla does hold this and continue to bounce. Still good recovery. City says BTBT looks good. That is pretty cheap, Tangi, for being that far in the money and everything. That's crazy. Just be careful, guys. TSLA trying to come up. Like to see the green. Looking at our watch list, TerraWolf is up 37%. I saw everybody talking about this one in pre-market today. It's destroying it right now. It'd be a fun surprise if they crush earnings. You can dunk the calls now. That'd be perfect. The chart has a lot of room to move on that one. Energy Fuels. Up 4.5% around the top end of the watch list today. Look at that one on the daily. It's coming back. Might try to go for another extension. SPY still has a chance to get up more. The power of bots said. Yeah, it's got a shot. It's trying. Getting a little bit stuck, but pretty good. What's up, Jeanette? Good morning, good morning. Thanks for joining up today. For those of you just now joining up, producer prices ended up coming in way hotter than expected. Came in at 0.9% whenever they were expecting 0.2%. If you're wondering why the market's down so much today, or why it sold off in pre-market anyways, I guess it's not really down that much anymore. The sky is falling, Jason says. All right, Chicken Little. Can you check CNC, the resistance and supports? For sure. Centene, you really have to just go to a daily chart. As far as resistance is concerned, I don't think that we really need to overly analyze resistance, as, you know, it really just blasted through a ton of levels. I mean, you almost... I would just say watch this overall bottom range. There's a really good support around $25. We keep holding that with CNC. That's the main level to watch, 25. The lower support, if that breaks, things could get a bit brutal for CNC. Now, I'll say this. If it breaks by just a little bit, you might need to be a little careful. You know, there was a wick in the past that extended down to 23.75. So if you want to get really technical, maybe like 23.50, something like that as a stop. Nonetheless, I do like this lower range. There's a midpoint around 33, and the upper end is around 37.25 to 38. So that's really what I'm watching for here over the next couple of weeks. $40 will be on watch too if it gets that high, but then again, that's pretty far away. This stock has been selling off a lot recently, and you know, we can see that there's a pretty clear support around that $25 area. Yeah, Wolf did take off. That's a pretty insane jump by them. Taro Wolf, let's look at it on the daily. Huge gap up. Citi setting limit orders for SPLG and QQQM at the low of day if it hits. Nice, grabbing some for the long term. ONDS is on watch, Mr. Wu said. It dipped down yesterday, the past couple trading days, but coming back. Looks pretty good, Mr. Wu. Man, yeah, ONDS is on fire. Looks like A&D is going to fill up to that 176 gap, the power of bots said. Let's go see. 176 gap down here to the downside. It would actually be perfect if it filled the gap and bounced off of it and back up. That would be pretty fire. It's been all over today, though. A tested the upper end of this range around 185.50, 186, touched resistance, but fell right back. I really want to see a good breakout here. Yeah, it's pretty far out, power of bots, but I would doubt that it gets all the way down there today, honestly, but how's Boeing this morning? Just kind of consolidating here, nothing crazy. Man, the airlines have been nuts the past few trading days. They tanked down today, though. Look at how they were moving the past few trading days. DAL, UAL, AAL. Very nice price action out of those. Go to Tesla. 5-minute charts. Trying to bounce here, 335. We've been watching this one on the recovery this morning for quite a while. Getting a little slow and choppy up here at the top, but at least at the higher end of the day since it opened. BBAI, come alive, Tangi said. Big Bear AI. Coming alive in a great way up to $5.90. Watch for a possible breakout to $6. If we do see a $6 breakout coming in, that would be pretty solid. Oh yeah, I see in the chat you guys are talking about Paramount. Tom Free, 3 trade a day recommendation. He said for the 3 trade a day recommendation. Does this mean no more than 3 trades in terms of 3 different underlyings, or no more than 3 directions on one underlying? Weck, I'm assuming that you're talking about the pattern day trading rule, right? The PDT rule. I just want to confirm that that's what you're talking about. Correct? With the 3 trades in a 5-day period. You recommend we don't do more than 3 trades a day. Oh, were you were talking about how I've talked about that to you before. I gotcha. Yeah. Now I know it. Now I know exactly what you're talking about, Weck. Sorry, I get a lot of questions about the PDT rule. It kind of sounded like you were talking about the PDT rule there. I'm glad that I asked to clarify. Yeah. I would say just no more than 3 specific trades in a day, Weck. Like, let's say that you're looking at, like, let's just say you're trading all day long. I'm talking about, like, 3 trades and then that being it. Like, I don't think that we need to necessarily say, like, okay, 3 upside trades, 3 downside trades, 3 trades on Tesla only, and then you could go trade Nvidia 3 times or something. That's not what I'm talking about. I generally just mean like just 3 trades in a day. I don't think that many traders should be going over that, especially if they're not necessarily winning, right? So I would say generally stick to 3 trades. Now, of course, once you start, getting things down and, you can start opening yourself up a little bit more, right? But I think staying constricted and, protecting the account in the beginning is ultra important, especially while you're learning still. And just, keeping it to 3 trades a day max will help you from over trading. It also might help increase your quality of trades, right? Because you're going to be more disciplined on what you do trade. Yeah, that's really it, Weck. I mean, managing risk is like the name of the game. A lot of people that lose out there, you'll see that they do not manage their risk well. They will not. They'll bag hold all day and then say, Tom, I held this all day. Should I cut? And I'm like, man, you should have cut that 5 hours ago. I don't know. Sometimes I get those questions. I'm like, man, it's worthless now. Like, you held a 0 DTE all day and we're losing. Cool guy said, I'm one of those people. Yeah, that's what they weren't talking about that, Jake. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse guys out there. Oh, Wax says, it's starting to seem like I was a little better when I was more freewheeling. Well, you know what could be going on for you, Wack, is there could be something going on where what's happening is that you're actually overthinking things now, possibly. That could be a possibility. Whereas instead of just, like, letting things play out naturally, you're maybe trying to think and, like, force everything. As long as you just keep it simple with, like, your risk reward and your stop loss and things like that, I think you're pretty solid. You said not saying a lot better, just a little better. Okay. How long have you been trading, Wack? Curious. You said the trade desk is a POS. TTD down to 5260. Yeah, Chase, 0 DTEs can be brutal. Cool guy, I'm at least glad you can admit it, right? Holy TTD. Jake said it's still a POS and I switched to it and then this 1 minute candle just comes in and dies. What the? Been actively investing for like 5 years now, but started trading actively in like December, Wex said. Okay. So you've been doing it for a little while. Anyone else knows increase in YouTube videos and documentaries about Palantir recently, Brain asked. Interesting. Yeah, has anyone out there noticed that increased videos about Palantir. Keep in mind, Brain, that if you've been looking up Palantir, YouTube might be recommending you things for a reason, but I wouldn't be surprised, though, if there was an increase in videos. I mean, Palantir is so popular now. Kind of reminds me of Tesla in the beginning. Wax says, I just keep hearing from all the education to prioritize risk management. Now I hesitate less to risk management. It seems now I take more losses, Wax said. So, Weck, I guess here's one thing I would say is if it does seem like that's going on, you might need to look at maybe simply widening your stop a little bit. If you're taking way too many losses that it's not allowing you to win enough, but your strategy was working good whenever you had, let's say, wilder stop losses, you can still have wilder stop losses. You just can't enter into the plays now as heavily. So if you were going to put $1,000 into the play with a stop loss of 10 or 20%, and that's, you're risking $100 or $200, now you're going to have to enter in with like $500 and risk 50%. So that, it's like there's a ratio there, right? Like if it's if you're risking 10%, you'll want to enter in such a way that like it doesn't allow your account to lose more than a certain percentage. Whether that percentage is 5% of your account or 3% or 2% or 4 or 1, I would say somewhere 5% or less on overall account risk is what you should be looking at, really. Which would mean if you have a $5,000 account, you would never really want to risk more than $250 on one trade, right? And so on. You can go onwards with it. But TTD, what the hell's happened here? Man, it is a POS. You're not kidding. SPY ripping. Wow, 645. Whenever you guys said SPY in the chat, I was expecting to look at it and it was down, Martin. So, kind of surprising here. Nice by the SPY today. Does that make sense though, Weck? What a casino SPY is, Hugo says. At least it's been pretty straight up from open, but what a reversal again. Market's so resilient here. Not even bad PPI data can keep it down. And that seemed like a pretty bad reading today, if I was being honest. Wolf is at 40% now, Brain said. Won't stop today. Wow. Past 5 1-minute candles. Amazing again. On the daily, it's not... Oh, I was going to say it's not really too close to the all-time high yet. And then I zoomed out and I was like, yo, no, it's really far. Gosh, following COVID, TerraWolf ran up to $43. Wow. I guess it had left my mind that they dipped back down that hard over the years. Ooh. Walmart's backing out of their partnership with the Trade Desk. Oh, wow. That does suck for the Trade Desk. They look pretty brutal on the chart, too. Wow, what a gap down. I've noticed a trend here, guys. Now, let me know your thoughts, and I'm going to explain it out to you. But I've noticed a trend where, like, if traders see a gap down, kind of like what's been going on with TTD, I don't know what it is, but especially newer traders, they always want to buy it up, like, the second that it drops. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like the trade desk back last Friday, a couple Fridays ago, as it dipped there following the earnings, everyone was like, okay, should we buy it? Should we buy it? You know, and everybody always wants to run in and buy them on these huge dips, I guess, because, you know, they think it could come back. I would say, you know, that works out sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. I'd be very careful entering in too heavy on a dip like that. But I don't know what it is, but I see that all the time. If there's a stock dipping, it's almost guaranteed I'm going to have, like, multiple questions about buying it for the long term that day. Like, no matter what. It's kind of funny, but it's good to ask questions, but I think that it's I think it's just maybe getting a little too carried away with some of these dip buys. Ryan said that's such an ugly chart. Yikes. Pretty brutal. Look at DE, Deere? John Deere. I'm usually not told to look at John Deere. Wow, it pulled back a little bit. Wonder why they're down so much on their earnings. They dip after their Q3 results. They lowered full year 2025 net income outlooks. That's not good. Their quarterly sales / revenue was $12.08 billion, which beat the consensus of $10.3 billion. That destroyed the consensus. Weird there. Look at this. Evercore ISI adjusts the John Deere, Deere and Company's price target to $492.55 from $493. Oh my gosh, they revised their prediction or their target by 45 cents. That's so weird. Why would they even mess with it? We will never financially recover from this, Brain said. Yeah, John Deere is selling off pretty good, though. Keep your eyes on that one down, possibly. You know, back in the day, it would have cost more to print this news than it's actually worth, Brain said. You know, you're right. Back in the day, it would have Things got a little strange back then. If I can squeeze out a 20% on SPY calls, I'm going to take everyone out to Great Wolf Lodge, Chase said. Everyone out to Great Wolf Lodge. Where's that? Great Wolf Lodge. Kansas City. I've never been here before.
Jack it up.
They got quite a few of them. I didn't even realize that. You know, I haven't looked at Six in a while. Wait, what's Six Flags? Wait. Did Six Flags quit trading? Oh, it's fun. Could have sworn it used to be called Six. Did Six Flags halt today, or did they just have no volume? Oh, no, it's not even showing me pre-market or after hours is what it's doing. I was a little curious there. Brain says we even have Six Flags in Europe. Really? I would have never thought that. Wow, okay. Yeah, we got one like 30 minutes from my house. I used to love it when I was a kid. Dell is rising, Hugo said. Dell trying to come up. It bounced right around the low of yesterday at open. It's kind of touching resistance right here. It is actively moving up, but I'm worried about resistance possibly slowing up.
Jack it up.
Sorry, guys. Just reading through some stuff really quick. 1 second. Let's see. He said, I did it as a kid, Chase. Me and a buddy just went there to play the Wilderness Golf Course and stayed the night. It was a blast. Get super drunk and go down the big slides. Wild Rock Golf Club. Okay, that sounds cool. Wild Rock. $31% on SPY calls, Chase said. Bam. Get your swimmies out, boys and girls. We're going to Splash Town. I'm bringing my daughter, Chase. She's going to like it. SPY just slowly moving up, or what Autumn said. For now it is. It is contending with good resistance here, so I'm going to be watching very closely for that high of pre-market to possibly hold up. I do think that it could break, given all of the action that we've seen past couple trading days, but I'm leaning more down. Nvidia on its way to 184. That's what we want to hear. Come on, Nvidia, let's get it done. Back to the top end of the channel. I know a lot of people were talking about potentially buying Nvidia up off of this 180 support down here. It's been holding and moving quite well. It didn't come back for a retest, unfortunately, but it did dip a little bit on the way up. I wouldn't do it at this point, power of bots. If you do, I would wait for a little pullback. I'd wait till you see like 3 red 1-minute candles and then jump on it or something if you were trying to ride the wave. I would say though right now it's pretty far. I think it's a tough one to chase. AMD's pulling back quite well, almost down to the 180 support.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We haven't broken out of this range on SPY since aftermarket on Tuesday. Yeah, it's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, I guess it technically broke Wednesday morning very early, but SPY bouncing right in the same rectangle, Wex said. Jake said, I have Nvidia leaps, and they just keep going up in the 120% range now. There we go. That's what we want to hear, Jake. Glad to hear that. Got some good leaps. I know a lot of people who crushed it on Nvidia leaps here. I've seen some pretty big pictures out there. A lot of conversations, too. Tesla crossed the 50 moving average, Dan said. You like looking at the 50? It's on fire right here. 340 coming up. Let's look at it on Bookmap. I bet there's a lot of sellers stacked up at that 340 area overhead. Oh yeah, 36,000 shares, 37,000. Pretty big sell wall there. A lot larger than 343 or 344. Now 345 is pretty thick, but yeah, here, power of bots, like how it's dipping right now. Like you would maybe, you know, if you were looking to buy up the dip. Now, again, it's pretty overextended. I think the chances of NVIDIA pulling back are getting higher and higher each leg that it goes. But essentially, you'd be looking to buy up the dip somewhere around here. So, like, let's just say that, you know, we would see these red candles starting to form. I would say you put your stop loss, like, right there for a super quick day trade. And you target just above the upper end of there. The risk-reward ratio comes out to be 2 in this current setup. I think it would be pretty rare, considering all these small pullbacks, to see it get down to the bottom of this. Again, it's not my favorite setup because I think NVIDIA is a little overextended. But this is how I would set it up if we were looking for something like this. We'll leave it on there, see how it goes for a little while. How's BE looking? Does the thick red only mean sellers? So the power of bots, if you're looking at the book map here, the thick red lines underneath are buyers and the thick lines overhead are sellers. So we would say that there's good sell walls overhead and good buy walls underneath here. It's essentially where shares are being stacked up. And here, I'll make it make sense for you too. Like, imagine that you're trying to sell Tesla, right? Like, you wouldn't be selling it at 330 underneath where it is now. Like, that would be kind of dumb, right? So you wouldn't really do that. So you would essentially, you know, like if you were going to sell Tesla, it'd be smarter just to sell it right here, right? At 340. So that's kind of where that thought process comes in. So my spy calls, Chill said. Let's go see. I think you picked a good time of the day. Oh yeah, spy right at resistance. I like that, Chill. I like that sell. Even if spy goes higher, I think that's a great spot to do it. Awesome. Give me the ticker, Val. I need a ticker symbol. I don't know, Murphy, USA. Isn't that like a gas station? Hell yeah. Throw some dubs in the chat for Chill. It was 50%. Still pretty solid. Disney has said that its theme parks generate $67 billion in annual U.S. economic impact. Probably so. Imagine how much more money families would have if they didn't have to spend $15,000 to go to Disney World. Have you looked at Wolf? Let's see, WULF. Who was spamming those buttons right there? A $10 Uncrustable? Oh my god, Mason. I have those $10 Uncrustables in my fridge right now. Ryan says Tom's wallet is speaking from past trauma. How'd you know? I think I went there. I went to Disney World for 4 days. And I think I spent $8 grand or something of that nature. It's not like that much, but, you know, I think that's pretty significant. I think it was like 500 a night for the rooms. No, maybe more. Maybe like 800 a night or something. It was... I felt like I was staying in Las Vegas or something. It's like... I know, right, Mason? Seriously, could have went to Europe, literally. And I'm factoring in the plane and stuff too, so keep that in mind. I'm counting the flights. Ryan says, "Ow, man." Trader Joe's has Uncrustable dupes that are cheaper. So does Walmart, Weck. So does Walmart. Although, I always just buy the regular Uncrustables. I eat those things up like hotcakes, man. I love Uncrustables. Let's show you some pink Uncrustables here. I forgot what flavor it is. This is my all-time favorite. Raspberry. Peanut butter and raspberry. Now I want to go eat one. BE if you get a chance. Bloom Energy pulling down. Good intraday support sitting here around right around 43.30, 43.35, but it's breaking down now. Looks a bit brutal there on the break. I know, right, Autumn? Same. Ryan said they're the best snack to exist. Can't go wrong. Peru and spent 3,100. Whoa. Well, you got to keep in mind, Mason, in Peru, you know, I mean, I don't know exactly the cost, but I would assume that, like, a $50 steak dinner here would cost, like, $10 there or something. I'm not 100% sure, but... A glass of water costs $18 in Miami. At the club Mason went to, it sure did. Mason just said it too. Bloom Energy, not my favorite setup today. Kind of going flat here. I don't love the possible recovery opportunity. Whoa, you could maybe attempt to trade it up, but again, not my favorite. Mason, that would have been so cool if you saw Bryson at the club. Like, what if Bryson DeChambeau popped out at the club you were at, man? That would be insane. Or Dustin Johnson comes in or something. Phil Mickelson. He said Live Nightclub. Oh! For some reason, I thought you meant that you went to go watch the Live, and then you just happened to be there because of that or something. And then I figured that they might see you there. I get you now. That's the actual name of the club. I meant Bryson probably knows how to rage. That'd be pretty funny. I feel like Bryson does some, like, stuff like that. I don't know why. He's kind of a wild guy. Dang, he played so bad. What the hell did he do? Shoot over 80 or something? Chase said Scotty ran over a dude, though, in Louisville. Are you talking about that time he got arrested? Ended Sunday +3. That's the... I guess that's bad for him. Oh gosh, yeah, Chase. That was such a weird situation whenever he got arrested, wasn't it? I bet the cop had a power trip because he probably thought that he could, like, skip the line, or that he probably thought the cop told him to go through or something, and then the cop flipped shit. They do that sometimes, man. They do that sometimes. I even have back the blue plates on my vehicle, and even I've had some run-ins with them. So they love to yell at you. First hole we saw him play was a par 3. Hit the cart path, which is light gravel. He chopped it way past the pin. Then his putt back was way past the other way. Ooh. He was out there even 3-putting. Oh, wow. Spy pushing for a new all-time high. Let's see, SPY. Wow, it broke through. 645, guys. Spy is getting it done right now. This is almost insanity, what we're witnessing. What a good jump. The market is so resilient here. So resilient. Cannot believe it broke through like that. $645.50 a minute ago. Bounced off, of course, Autumn said. That's a pretty good bounce. $645.50. It did hold a little bit there. The all-time high is up around like $646.20. Probably going to see some wild action next couple hours. Don't be afraid to look at both sides. Roller coaster, for real. It'll probably shift and end up selling off at some point today. I don't think that we'll get to a new all-time high, but I think that'd be pretty rare. High of day yesterday, 640, 620. Perfect. I think it's pure euphoria. RSIs are peaked out, Juan said. That's a problem with RSI, man. It'll stay peaked out for a long time, and that's where people will keep trying to short or something. Roller coaster, for real. Go look at some of these stocks on the watch list again. Rocket Lab up 3.8%. How about CCJ? That stock can get fun sometimes. Just made a new high of the day a couple minutes ago. Pulled back slightly, though. Trying to get some action. DraftKings is up 1.29%. Still eyeing them up right now. Looking at them on the daily, they dipped with earnings. Yeah, earnings a couple weeks ago. We're almost getting into like betting and football season here, so. I wonder if baseball generates more from betting or if football generates more from betting. I'm actually really curious in that because, you know, baseball's like every day. But with football, they only play 10 games a year. Sorry, I know it's more like 15 or 14. You know, versus like 160. So I don't know. I feel like the volume as time goes by, I mean, baseball might take the cake. I don't know. The Super Bowl. Yeah, now the Super Bowl probably does put it way over the top. I didn't even think about that. Somebody asked the chat GPT. Yeah, that's a good... I will. Let me go ask, actually. I bet that they're not going to know, though. I'm asking Grok. Okay. Grok says the NFL is the most wagered on sport in the U.S., with a projected $35 billion wagered in the 2024 season, according to the American Gaming Association. But they're not really telling me what baseball did. I bet they don't even have the data for baseball. So they said about $35 billion wagered in the 2024 season for football. Industry-wide estimates indicate that MLB betting handle reached approximately $12.1 billion in gross revenue for the league, as reported by Forbes. Yeah, it says that there's no exact figures there. That sucks. Apparently, like, sometimes, like let's say the Giants would play the Nationals, 98% of bets would be on the Giants or something. They're saying for baseball. Kind of strange as I'm reading through it. Nonetheless, it looks like football easily takes the cake. I can't wait for fantasy, man. This is going to be fun. By the way, I'll make whatever day work. I don't know, Ryan. I'll make whatever day work for fantasy. You know, I I'm not super picky. I'll make it happen. As long as it's not on the night of a Q&A. We're thinking the 28th. It's a Thursday. I'm good with that. Let's do it Thursday at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. That'd be perfect for me. Jaden Daniels is your QB. I'm going to be honest. My team's... I don't even know who anybody is. Here, I'll name some players off the top of my head. Jalen Hurts. Trevor Lawrence. Todd Gurley. Joe Burrows? That's tough. I don't know any of these teams or people. Todd Gurley's been out for years. Oh, has he? That guy used to be amazing, man. Tom's ripping through football cards from 2015. Tyreek Hill, I know him. Oh, how could I forget Mahomes? Or Taylor Swift. He's gonna try to put Tom. What if it would let me draft? You know what? I'll bet you that Tom Brady's draftable. I might have to do that. Let's go see General Motors out here. Nice resistance overhead, 55.70, 55.80. Looking at the daily, General Motors started to break out yesterday. So I wanted to keep it on the radar today for a possible continuation here. Ride out the retirement home. He's not that old. Do you guys think Brady's going to actually be done for good, or you think he'll try to come back one more time? I'm going to go with done now, but... Man, look at LUNR selling down today. That is brutal. Pulling under $9.50. I know people were hyping this company up. They were supposed to... like send something to the moon, something like that. If you guys are joining up today and you're not yet subscribed, destroy that subscribe button. Also hit that like as well. And don't forget to check out the trading floor if you're not in there yet. I'm going to send a link in the chat here. Go to the link I'm sending. Check it out. Check out the store page. Rick says, just as I was about to ask us for a book map on Robinhood Splash. There goes my call profits. If only I had asked a minute sooner. Remember, stairs up, elevator down. That is a good... stairs up, elevator down example for sure. What's for lunch today, Tom? Chase is asking. You know what, Chase? I actually have not even thought about it yet. I have not even given it an inkling of a thought. It's only 8 a.m. where Autumn is. It's 10 a.m. here. 11 on the East Coast. Wow. It's weird to think about. Let's see, though, lunch. I probably am going to eat an Uncrustable right after this, though. That'll be like my quick little snack breakfast deal. Rick's been a Brady fan since he played at Michigan. Now, that's cool. That's pretty cool. I really loved Tom Brady over the years, Rick. I really liked him because everybody that I knew and everybody at every Super Bowl party and everything like that always just hated them. And I mean hated them. And I never understood it, like whenever I would like watch Tom Brady play or anything. But in St. Louis, Tom Brady has a terrible, terrible record, or just terrible popularity. People hate him here because of how they apparently cheated against the Rams in like the 2000 or 2001 Super Bowl. The Patriots had Spygate or whatever, and they got in trouble for like filming a Rams practice, and yeah, they got in some pretty big trouble for that one, so. They all hate Tom Brady here because of that. No, not the ball thing, yeah. You never heard that? Wow, Autumn, I'm surprised. Yeah, they literally, the Patriots in like 1999, 2000, or 2001 spied on the Rams and then destroyed them in the Super Bowl. They had like a crazy comeback and destroyed them. And everybody was like, how could they do that? How could they know exactly what they were going to do? And it turned out that they had filmed the the practice. Your parents went to that? Oh, wow. No, Autumn, they left because nobody goes to watch the games. The team was coming in like last place every year, and nobody would go watch because they were terrible. So a lot of times the game wouldn't even be televised because, like, I think they had to sell out or something to get televised. The White Sox of St. Louis, it really was. It was. And it kind of sucks, you know. They were pretty bad, you know. Nobody here liked them. Everybody calls this a baseball town, and that, you know, the football sucked, and no, and of course it was like the St. Louis Cardinals were amazing for like 10 or 15 years in a row during that time. Tesla pulling back a lot here. Wow, what a pullback by Tessie. SPY pulled back quite a bit after touching 645.50. Wow, I remember we looked at that initial drop earlier and it ended up being pretty good. Let's go check out NVIDIA again. You know, I forgot to switch back to it since we made our little risk-reward scenario here. So look, we didn't quite get to the target. But who was I talking about this dip buy earlier with? Oh, it was, gosh, I can't remember the name. The power of bots. That's what it was. The power of bots. But it worked out pretty well, you know. We saw this initial dip starting. You know, you place a stop loss a little bit underneath that dip, and, you know, it ran up. It didn't quite hit the target, but I would say ran up more than enough to get some profits. And plus, if it came back to break even, probably need to cut anyways. But it ended up being pretty good there for one final go. Now it actually broke down under that overall trend and is sending a bit lower, so Rick said, I was deployed when Brady took over the Patriots. I overheard people talking about how this new Brady guy is winning with Patriots. I'm like, Tom Brady? Poor Bledsoe. Yeah, seriously, poor Bledsoe, man. He got hurt that one time and never got to play again. It's pretty insane. Autumn actually went out and found a picture somewhere saying football, NFL plus college accounted for about 34% of U.S. sports betting. Baseball, only the MLB, made up around 15%. That's insane. I just figured that with there being, 160 games that there might be, it might catch it a little bit better than that. But yeah, we all know Americans love foosball. Butterfly effect, Rick. If Bledsoe didn't get hurt, Tom Brady wouldn't even be talked about. That's pretty crazy, isn't it, Mason? It's crazy whenever you hear about that stuff with baseball. Do you know the craziest thing is Tom Brady even getting drafted? It was like the second to last round, or like last round, pick like 500 and something or something. Oh my gosh. I can't even believe the Tom Brady story. Like, the Tom Brady story is pretty insane. Is that how Brock Purdy was? Or is? Sorry, I don't even know that. He was picked dead last. Oh, wow. I know who Brock Purdy is, too, at least. Ryan said, I think with the MLB, at least, it's a transitionary period where all the big dogs from the early 2000s are pretty much all retired. Except guys like Kirsch and Verlander. And they better end up retired here soon. Scherzer's still out there. It's funny, the big three pitchers from back then, Kershaw, Verlander, and Scherzer, are all back. That's kind of funny. Mason said Kershaw might as well be retired. Oh my gosh. I feel bad for Kershaw. You know, he's actually doing good this year. He's 6-2 with a 3 ERA. 14 games started. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Now, the one thing that I think is pretty wild whenever you think about Kershaw, you know, being a St. Louis Cardinals fan and being from St. Louis, I got to witness a lot of Kershaw's best years where the Dodgers played the Cardinals in the playoffs, and the Cardinals knocked them out of the playoffs, and specifically Kershaw blew it like 3 times. It was crazy. Specifically him. There was one year I was watching the Cardinals game, and the Cardinals were down by like 6 runs or something. And Kershaw ended up, I think, coming in like late in the game as like a special thing to try and close it out or something, and he ended up blowing it, and Matt Carpenter, of all people, burned him. Mason said the Dodgers pitchers have always been jinxed. Game yesterday, up 5-2, lose 6-5. Yeah, it takes going over the salary cap by billions of dollars to win for them. That's for sure. How's Gratterall doing, Mason? Is he hurt again? Gratterall's the one guy I would have thought was doing pretty good for them in the bullpen. He's only pitched in 7 games, though. He's probably hurt. Yep, he's hurt. I thought he was coming back. I was surprised he didn't. They need Joe Kelly back. I think don't the Dodgers have a ton of hurt pitchers too? Man, Palantir resistance here at 185 is huge. What a crazy resistance overhead. Rejected again, double topped, pulling back on Palantir. Watch it down. Spy continuing to chop around on its pullback as well. Those poor pitchers nowadays, I don't think that they can go without getting hurt. How many years until Paul Skeens gets the Tommy John, Mason? That's the question. QQQ's going down too, Autumn says. Pulling back with the Spy. A little bit rough. Well, alrighty, guys. I think we're going to call it there. We got our sports talk out of the way today. Thanks to DraftKings for sponsoring the channel. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Paul Skeens will have Livy Dunn taking care of him. She's going to leave him whenever he gets bad after the Tommy John, though. Do you guys remember Walker Buehler? What happened to that guy? He had Tommy John and has been terrible since then. Felt bad for him. Went way down. Ohtani is like an alien? Oh, wow. Dodgers are so lucky to have him. They're not lucky, Autumn. They're not lucky. They paid a lot. I guess it's lucky, though. Tesla inching back down to... She said, inching back down 2. Is it pullback time? Tessie pullback time. It's actually pulled back quite a bit now. It's getting closer to support. I feel like it already was going through pullback time there. Could it dip more today? It could. But I would watch for a possible support bounce, Autumn. Seems to like this range pretty well. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a great one. I hope to see you in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord yet, Check out the link I'm sending in the chat right now. Join up on the trading floor. Get in on the bot action. Come learn a few things. Let's go. It just means you're a top fan today, Rick. It's what happens if you talk a lot in the chat and you do a super chat or something like that. All right, see you later, guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday.